When you play with people's lives, eventually someone plays back, and my move left her stunned. Before starting the story, please subscribe and like the video and listen through end for chill. Our 7th wedding anniversary was supposed to be simple: dinner at our favorite Italian restaurant, a walk through the waterfront promenade, and a quiet night together afterward. Nothing fancy, nothing dramatic, nothing like what actually happened. I should have sensed something was off that morning. My husband, Daniel, kept glancing at his phone, turning it face down each time I walked by. He wasn't cold, but he definitely wasn't warm either. His mother had texted him several times already. I saw the notifications blinking, but he wouldn't tell me what they were about. Whenever his mother, Linda, got involved, peace turned into chaos fast. I brushed it off and focused on getting ready for dinner. I had even purchased a small gift for her, something I'd been planning for months, because this anniversary, I wasn't coming empty-handed. The restaurant was packed that evening, glowing with soft lights and the comfortable hum of families chatting over pasta and wine. For an hour, Daniel and I actually laughed. We clinked glasses, we shared dessert. It almost felt like the old days, before the wedge of his mother's disapproval dug deeper and deeper into our lives. But that peace didn't last. We stepped out into the cool air afterward, and that's when I saw her, Linda, standing by our car. Dressed in a beige coat, her lips pinched like she'd bitten down on a lemon, a small white envelope in hand. I froze. What is she doing here? Daniel groaned softly. I told her not to come, but she came anyway. She always did. Linda strutted toward us, the heels of her boots clicking sharply against the pavement. She didn't smile. She didn't say happy anniversary. She didn't even acknowledge her son. She came straight to me. Here, she said, thrusting the envelope into my hand, your anniversary gift. I blinked. You got me a gift? She smirked, a cold, practiced smirk I'd grown to hate. Open it. No, Daniel stepped forward. Mom, stop. But I was already sliding my finger under the flap. Something inside me urged me to do it. Maybe it was defiance, maybe it was adrenaline. Maybe I already knew this night was about to explode. I pulled out a pile of documents. Legal documents. Divorce papers. My breath vanished. The pavement under me felt like it tilted sideways. What is this? I whispered. Something you should have received a long time ago, she said. I told Daniel he needs to leave you. He deserves a better life, a better wife, someone who won't drag him down. Daniel's face flushed red. I never said I wanted a divorce, but she talked right over him. It's time you let him go, dear. Consider it my gift to you. Gift? I choked. A divorce is your idea of a gift? She shrugged. I'm being generous. I drafted everything for you. All you need to do is sign. That was it. That was her big move, her big plan. She thought she had me pinned, but she had no idea what I had in store. Because I came with an envelope too. And mine wasn't filled with paperwork. Mine was filled with truth. I reached into my purse, my hands steady despite the storm inside me. I pulled out a gold envelope, smaller, sleeker, thicker than the one she'd given me. I held it out to her. This is my anniversary gift to you. Linda glared at it like it might be poisonous. What's this supposed to be? A surprise, I said, letting the words sit coldly between us. Go ahead, open it. Daniel's eyes flicked to me in confusion, but he didn't interrupt. He knew I didn't start fires unless I had the water to put them out. Linda snatched the envelope with visible annoyance, ripping it open dramatically, the way someone opens a lottery ticket they already believe they've won. She froze when she saw the first photo. Her eyes widened, the color drained from her face. What is this? She breathed. But she knew. Oh, she knew exactly what it was. Inside that envelope were photographs, dozens of them, taken over the past 3 months. Photographs of her, entering a married man's home, leaving a hotel with him at midnight, holding hands with someone who was definitely not her husband, Daniel's father. I had hired a private investigator, not to expose her. Initially, I wanted proof for myself, proof of the manipulation she was using against Daniel, proof that she was not the moral authority she pretended to be. But when she ambushed me with divorce papers on my anniversary, well, the timing lined up perfectly. "What is this?" she repeated, but her voice cracked. "Proof," I said. "Proof of what you've been doing behind your husband's back." Daniel stepped forward. "Mom, what the hell?" But I wasn't done, because this wasn't just about the cheating. It was about the manipulation, the lies, the way she had been slowly poisoning my marriage from the inside out. Linda stumbled backward, clutching the stack of photos to her chest. This means nothing," she sputtered. "You must have staged this." "Really?" I said coolly. "Your private investigator thought so too, until he zoomed in and found your necklace in every single photo, the same necklace you never take off." Daniel rubbed a hand across his forehead. "Mom, you told me you were volunteering at the community center on these nights." She looked caught, truly caught, for the first time since I'd met her. "You went behind my back," she whispered to me. "You went behind everyone's," I shot back, "including your husband's, including your son's, including mine." She opened her mouth, maybe to deny something, maybe to lie, but nothing came out. Because I wasn't finished. I stepped closer. "You've been telling Daniel that I'm controlling, that I'm emotionally unstable, that I'm sabotaging his career, that I'm spending irresponsibly, that I'm not supportive." "That was for his own good," she whispered. "Really? Because the bank records I included in that envelope show multiple withdrawals from his joint account, withdrawals you made, thousands of dollars. You even forged his signature." Daniel snapped his head toward her. "Mom, tell me that's not true." She didn't answer. She didn't have to, because the truth was sitting right there in her trembling hands. I continued. "You wanted him tangled financially. You wanted him dependent on you. You wanted me out of the picture because you can't handle not being the center of his life. You're twisting this," she spat. "No, I'm finally untwisting it." The air turned sharp with silence. People from the restaurant patio had started watching, but I didn't care. This moment was 7 years in the making. Daniel's voice cracked. "Mom, why would you do all this?" She blinked rapidly, searching for a lifeline. I didn't want to lose you." "You weren't losing me," he said quietly. "You were sabotaging my marriage." Her lips trembled. "She stole you from me." "I married her," he shot back, "and you never accepted that." Linda clutched the photos like they might dissolve if she squeezed hard enough. "This marriage is a mistake. She's manipulating you." I laughed, a short, humorless sound. "I'm manipulating him? I'm not the one who hired a lawyer to draft fake divorce papers." Daniel stared at her, horrified. "You forged my signature on those papers?" She swallowed. "I was trying to help you." "No," he said sharply. "You were trying to control me." Linda tried to gather herself, but the damage was already done. She finally whispered, "Daniel, you're my son. Everything I did was because I love you." "That's not love," he whispered. "That's obsession." For the first time since I'd known her, she looked genuinely fragile. Not angry, not superior, just small. She turned to leave, but then remembered the envelope again and the mountain of evidence against her husband. I stepped closer. "One more thing," I said. She froze. "You wouldn't." "Oh, I would," I said softly, "because unlike you, I'm not afraid of the truth." She turned, her eyes burning with humiliation. Not guilt, not remorse, just humiliation. And then she got into her car and sped off. Daniel didn't speak for the first 10 minutes. Not a word. Finally, he whispered, "How long have you known?" 3 months. "And why didn't you tell me right away?" I looked out the window. "Because I didn't want to hurt you. I wanted to be sure. I wanted proof, not accusations." He exhaled, long and slow. I can't believe she did all that. I can, I said softly, because she's been trying to push me out since day one. His silence was heavy, not angry, not defensive, just grieving. She's my mom, he whispered. I know. And she ruined our anniversary. She tried to ruin more than that. He nodded, staring straight ahead. Thank you for defending us. Always. He reached over and took my hand. It wasn't the romantic anniversary moment I imagined, but it was real, and it was ours. The next morning, Daniel insisted we visit his parents. I knew it would be a disaster, but some disasters are necessary. His father was trimming flowers in the yard when we arrived. He greeted us warmly, unaware that his wife's entire world was about to collapse. Linda came out from the house, pale and withdrawn. Her husband noticed immediately. "Honey, are you okay?" She looked between us, guilty and terrified. "I need to talk to you," she whispered. Inside, I sat at the dining table while the three of them stood in the living room. The conversation was muted at first. Hushed voices, murmurs, Linda trying desperately to spin her story. But then her husband's voice rose. "How long?" She tried to calm him. He shouted again. "How long, Linda?" She sobbed, she pleaded, she tried to blame me, blame loneliness, blame stress, blame anything except herself. But the truth was too big to bury now. Her husband stormed upstairs. Doors slammed. Closets opened. Suitcases came out. Linda followed him crying, but he shut the bedroom door on her. Daniel stood frozen. I could feel the weight of years of lies collapsing around us. For weeks afterward, everything was quiet. Too quiet. Linda moved into her sister's house temporarily. Her husband filed for separation. Daniel only spoke to her once, to tell her he needed space. Real space. Not the manipulated, guilt-ridden space she used to force on him. Our home was peaceful for the first time in years. We cooked, we laughed, we talked late into the night. We went on walks. We rebuilt what had been slowly cracked by her interference. One evening, Daniel wrapped his arms around me and whispered, "I should have protected you more." I turned in his arms. We protect each other. That's how marriage works. He smiled, a real smile, and kissed my forehead. That anniversary started as the worst one of my life, but it became the turning point we desperately needed. A month later, I received a letter in the mail from Linda. My hands shook when I opened it. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't a confession. It wasn't regret. It was one line. "You destroyed my family." I stared at the sentence for a long time. Then I folded the paper neatly and placed it in a drawer. Because the truth was simple. She destroyed her own family. I just handed her the envelope that revealed it. The letter from Linda sat in my nightstand drawer for days. I told myself it meant nothing, just another attempt to guilt-trip me. But every time I opened the drawer for chapstick, a hair tie, or anything else, her words glared back at me like little barbed hooks. "You destroyed my family." Daniel didn't know about the letter. I didn't hide it on purpose, but part of me worried that telling him would reopen wounds that were just beginning to heal. Life felt calm for the first time in forever. We were laughing more, resting more, actually living more. But silence doesn't always mean peace. Sometimes it means pressure building quietly, waiting for its moment to explode. And explode it would. 2 weeks later, Daniel's father, Mr. Carson, called us on 7:13 a.m. on a Sunday. Nobody calls at that hour with good news. Daniel answered groggy. "Dad, what's wrong?" I sat up in bed immediately, reading the tension in his shoulders. There was a long pause on the other end. Too long. Finally, Daniel whispered, "Dad, slow down. What happened?" He listened, eyes widening. Then he turned to me. She left." I blinked. "Who left? Linda?" He nodded slowly, still listening to his father's trembling voice. "She packed a bag last night," Daniel murmured. "Left a note. She's gone." My stomach twisted. Gone where? His father didn't know. All he found was a short note on the kitchen table. "If you all think I'm the villain, then I'll disappear. Don't look for me." My mouth went dry. Linda, the woman who never surrendered control of anything, had vanished. And just like that, the calm we'd been rebuilding evaporated. For weeks afterward, Daniel spiraled. He wasn't angry, not exactly, but he was confused, heavy, conflicted, drowning in emotions he didn't know how to voice. "She hated me 3 months ago," he kept muttering. "Now she disappears. What is she doing?" Guilt seeped into him like slow poison. I tried to help. I cooked his favorite meals. We talked late at night. I held him when he needed it. But his pain was real, and I couldn't fix something that wasn't mine to fix. On the fourth night, he said something that chilled me. "I think she blames herself," he whispered. "Daniel," I said gently, "your mother doesn't blame herself. She blames me, blames you, blames everyone but herself." He closed his eyes. "I just don't want anything bad to happen." Neither did I, but something told me this wasn't over, not even close. By the end of the week, no one had heard from her. Not her sisters, not her husband, not Daniel, not a single friend. Nothing. Eventually, Daniel's father filed a missing person report. It felt surreal. The same woman who used to call us 3 times a day now had police searching for her. Detectives came by our house. They asked questions: where she might go, who she might contact, whether she had enemies. I bit back the urge to say she made plenty of enemies all on her own. Instead, I told them truthfully that she had no close friends, no hobbies, and no significant places she loved. "Were there signs of emotional distress?" the detective asked. Daniel hesitated. "She was overwhelmed." I didn't say anything. Linda wasn't the type to break silently. She was the type to break loud. If she was quiet now, it was intentional, calculated, planned, which meant she wasn't running, she was waiting. Linda wasn't the type to break silently. She was the type to break loud. If she was quiet now, it was intentional, calculated, planned, which meant she wasn't running, she was waiting. 10 days after she disappeared, I received an email from a burner address. No subject line, no greeting, just a single paragraph. "You think you know him better than I do, but he will see the real you soon enough. I needed time to prepare. Tell Daniel I love him." My blood ran cold. Prepare for what? Why email me, not Daniel? Why send anything at all? I took my phone and walked straight to the living room, where Daniel was watching TV, but not really watching. "Your mother wrote me," I said, handing him my phone. He froze, then read the message slowly. His jaw tightened. "What does this mean?" he whispered. "I don't know. She says she needs time to prepare. Prepare for what? I don't know, Daniel." But I knew one thing. This wasn't over. Not even close. 4 days later, at exactly 9:02 p.m., someone knocked on our door. Not a normal knock, a sharp, rapid, anxious knock. Daniel and I exchanged a look. His father never knocked like that. Neither did friends or neighbors. I opened the door. Linda stood there, rain dripping from her hair, eyes swollen, coat muddy, face pale and defeated. But the moment her gaze met mine, something flashed behind her eyes, something bitter, poisonous, alive. Not a broken woman, a calculating one. "Hello," she said, her voice trembling but her smirk unmistakable. "May I come in?" Daniel's breath caught. "Mom." She stepped inside without waiting. And that's when I saw it. Her hand was holding another envelope, thicker, heavier, more dangerous. She placed it on the coffee table like it was an offering she planned to detonate. "This," she whispered, "is my turn." The air tightened. Daniel's face drained of color. I swallowed hard. Linda smiled, a slow, deliberate, malicious smile. "I told you," she murmured, "you don't know who you're dealing with." Linda didn't sit. She didn't ask for water or rest or even look at her son properly. She just stood by the coffee table staring at the thick beige envelope like it was a bomb she planned to detonate. Daniel finally broke the silence. "Mom, what is that?" She didn't answer him. Her eyes were locked on me. Not him, not the room, just me. "It's time you see what you've done," she whispered. I felt a spike of cold fear crawl up my spine. "Linda," I said carefully, "we don't want drama." "Oh, honey," she smiled thinly, "this isn't drama, this is truth." She pushed the envelope towards me. Not Daniel, me. Her voice sharpened into a blade. "Open it." Daniel stepped forward. "Mom, stop." "No." She held up her hand. "This isn't for you. You wouldn't understand it." He froze. The room felt like it shrank around us. I slowly reached for the envelope. It was heavier than I expected, almost too heavy. Something cold and metallic shifted inside. My pulse quickened. "What is this?" I asked. Linda folded her hands. "Your reality." I carefully slid my finger under the flap and pulled out the contents. At first, I didn't understand, because inside were three things that made no sense together: a USB drive, a manila photo, and a silver bracelet I hadn't seen in years. A bracelet that belonged to me. A bracelet I lost 2 years ago. A bracelet I thought had fallen behind the washing machine, never to be found again. Daniel stepped closer. "Why do you have her bracelet?" Linda didn't look at him. She looked at me. "You didn't lose it," she whispered. "I took it." The room spun slightly. "You stole it?" She didn't blink. "I needed something personal of yours." "For what?" Daniel demanded. She tapped the USB drive with a single manicured finger. "For this." Daniel snatched the drive before I could stop him. He moved to the laptop on the kitchen island, hands shaking. "Don't," Linda said quietly. "Once you see it, you can't unsee it." But he had already plugged it in. A single video file popped up, titled, "The Truth About Her." My stomach dropped. "What did you do?" I whispered. Linda folded her arms. "I told you. I prepared." Daniel clicked the file. The video opened to a shaky shot of a dimly lit room. A desk, a chair, a camera set up facing forward. Then I appeared on screen. But it wasn't me. At least, not really me. It was a deep fake, a disturbingly realistic one. A fake version of me sat in the chair, hands folded, posture tense. And then the recording spoke in my exact voice. "I never loved Daniel. I married him for money." My breath punched out of me. "No," I whispered. "This isn't real. This isn't me." Fake me continued. "I manipulate him because it's easy. He's weak, pathetic. He thinks I care, but I'm just biding my time until I take everything." Daniel stumbled backward, staring at the screen like it was a nightmare made real. "That's not her voice," he whispered. "It can't be." But it was my voice. Perfect tone, perfect cadence, even my nervous laugh. Fake me leaned closer to the camera and smirked. Once his mother is out of the way, I can finally control him completely. I felt nauseous, sick, hollow. Linda tilted her head. Amazing what modern software can do, she said calmly. All I needed was your bracelet for voice modeling. It had tiny recordings of you talking to Daniel. You talk a lot, you know. My jaw fell open. You bugged my bracelet? She shrugged lightly. It was easy. Daniel stared at her in disbelief. Mom, you made a fake video of her? Why? She smiled, the smile of someone who had fallen so deep into madness she thought it was genius. To protect you. To protect me? Daniel's voice broke. By creating fake evidence? Not fake, she said sharply. Correct. Linda's voice took on a cold, eerie calm. I disappeared so I could finish the video, edit it, perfect it. My heart slammed against my ribs. You planned this, I whispered. Of course, she said. You embarrassed me. You exposed me. You thought I would sit quietly and let you tear my life apart? She stepped closer, too close, eyes unblinking. This time, I came prepared to tear yours apart. Daniel's face hardened in a way I had never seen before. You disappeared, he said quietly, to make a fake confession video of my wife. She nodded, to show everyone who she really is. I swallowed hard. You would have shown this to him? I asked. And her parents, she said casually. My blood froze. And her job. And the church. And every friend she has. I was going to send it everywhere. Daniel's voice cracked. Why would you do that? She turned to him with burning eyes. Because you took my son from me. I stepped back. That was the truth. Her truth. Her twisted reality. She would rather destroy me completely than accept that Daniel had a wife, that he had a life separate from her, that he wasn't hers to control. Daniel was shaking with fury. I was shaking with fear. But there was one more item in the envelope, the manila photo. Daniel picked it up. His face drained of color. It was a picture of me, taken from outside our home window. Me, sitting alone on the couch, at night, unaware, vulnerable. Linda watched my reaction closely. I took that 3 weeks ago, she whispered. I wanted a clear shot of your face for the video. Deepfakes work better with references. My stomach lurched. She had been watching me, stalking me, in the dark, without us knowing. Daniel looked like he might collapse. Mom, this is sick, whispered. Linda blinked slowly. No, Daniel, this is love. His voice rose, broken, desperate, horrified. No, Mom, this is obsession. This is dangerous. This is... She cut him off with a single chilling sentence. I would rather destroy her life than let her take you from me. Silence. Thick. Poisonous. Unbreathable. And then Daniel said something I never expected. Words that shattered Linda. Words that saved me. Words that changed everything. Mom, if you go through with this, I will never speak to you again. Linda froze. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. She shook her head rapidly, like she couldn't process it. No, Daniel, you don't mean that. I do, he said, tears slipping down his face. If you hurt my wife, you lose me. Linda staggered back like the words physically hit her. She looked at him, then at me, then at the video still paused on the screen, and her face twisted into something that wasn't human anymore. A mixture of heartbreak and hatred, love and rage, desperation and madness. She screamed, "She already took you from me." And with that, she lunged towards me. If that story gave you chills, drop a like, subscribe, and comment so I know you made it to the end. I've got another one. See you then.